Okay, I'll just check my background voice. Is it fine now? My voice is clear? Okay. Okay, let's start the session now. Good afternoon to all. So, this is the first official session of the subject Effective Communication Skills 2. So, the last session was the introductory one, where I just gave you the overall idea about the subject. And from this session, we'll start with the content. We'll start with Unit 1 in this particular session. Okay. Before I start discussing the first topic of Unit 1st, that is email writing, there are certain things that I would like to address here. See, whenever we will start the session, ideally from the next session, I'll invite one of you to give the beginning remarks in the next session. So not in this session, okay. And I will also invite another student to give the closing remarks. So what is this beginning remarks and closing remarks? Let me tell you that. Let's say today we are going to discuss email writing. Okay, so whatever the things we are going to discuss in today's session, the student whom I'm going to request to give the beginning remarks is supposed to summarize the entire session. Okay, and the closing remarks would be the means in the closing remarks, uh, the one whom I request to give the closing remarks, he or she is supposed to wind up the session, like in terms of addressing the important things that we have discussed in the session, and that way you can wind up the session. Fine. So I hope this is clear. So for the next session, like I'm going to meet you on Wednesday now. I would like to request Janki Papodra to give the opening remarks. Janki, I hope the message is clear to you. Just type yes in the chat box. Janki, are you there? Janki? Janki Papodra, you're going to give the opening remarks uh, and Rukli Adia, you're going to give the closing remarks. Okay, Janki and okay, fine, fine, yeah. Okay, let's start the session now. I hope students have joined. Yeah, are you able to access the screen? Just type yes in the chat box. Fine. So we are going to start the first session about email writing. Now, of course, writing an email is something that has become the part of our day-to-day life. It is a kind of a platform where you can communicate, you can convey something officially to someone else. And I believe we all have Google accounts. We all write mail to the whenever it is necessary to write. Okay, so this is something that you are familiar with, right? So I would like to address some questions. I mean, if in case you don't know what is email writing or what is this platform, uh, you can ask me, or else we'll go further. I hope you all are familiar with this platform of email writing. Yes. I would like to I would like to start the session by putting some questions in front of you. The first is why writing an email is so important. Second is how writing an email in an academic context is different than the workplace setup. And the third is what are the types of email writing? So I would like to discuss these three questions at the beginning of the session one by one. So the first thing is why writing an email is so important to us. Uh, when I address us means my position as a faculty and your position as a student. So maybe my purpose of writing an email is different uh, than your purpose of writing an email, right? So why do we need to write an email? Um, Here in this session, we are going to use chat box. Okay, so whenever I ask you, you're supposed to write down the answer in the chat box. Okay, or else I'll ask random student to answer the question. Okay, so first thing is, as a student, why do you think that writing an email is so important? So first of all, tell me, do you think that writing an email is important? Yes. Uh, Please feel free to answer. We are going to use this chat box during this session, and I expect the chat box should be full with a lot of answers. Okay. I hope you are following the session, all of you. Yes. Hello. Are you following the session, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
We are supposed to answer the question why writing an email is so important. What is the purpose of writing an email? Any idea? I see you're master's students, so I expect you to come up with the answers. You're doing masters, right? Niyati, do you write email regularly? Niyati, I'm asking you. Niyati Chabra. Yes, Anjali, what did you say? Yeah, Niyati, do you write email regularly?
No.
Okay, that's great. Um,
Niyati ऐसा कोई चाहिए था ना fine पूछिए.
Niyati, if you can unmute your mic, and Anjali too. My next question is to Niyati. Please unmute the mic.
Yes, ma'am. I unmute my mic.
Okay, fine. My next question is to Trusha Naria. Trusha, uh, how writing an email in an academic context is different than the workplace setup? Could you give one example of that, Trusha? Okay, that's fine. It's easy way to communicate communicate. That's absolutely correct. Sagar, still someone has not muted the mic. Anjali, if you can, Anjali Kosia, kindly mute the mic, please. Thank you. Fine. So my next question is to Sagar. Sagar, could you give one example of writing an email in the workplace setup? Sagar. Sagar, are you there? You can also write down the answer in the chat box. Fine, let's go to the next question. What are the types of email writing? Um, there are different types of writing in email. We'll discuss this question by giving you different situation. Um, let's say you're planning a tour, and for that you want to do some sort of inquiry. So this sort of email writing will consider as semi-formal. Semi-formal means it is not entirely formal and it is not entirely informal. Fine. If you are writing an email to your friend informing something, then you could be informal because you're writing an email to your friend. But if you are writing an email to a particular company or a particular organization or a particular group addressing someone or inquiring about something, so let's have given you this example I'll give you this one example. Let's say you want to inquire about the trip, and for that you are approaching an agency that can design the entire trip for you. So here you could be semi-formal, but let's say you are writing an email to your guide who is guiding you for your research project. Now here you need to be very formal with the email writing, right? So uh, there are types of email writing, okay, like formal, informal, semi-formal. It depends on the situation. It depends on the context. In which situation you are writing an email addressing whom. Okay. So what is the purpose of writing an email? So it depends on that. Now, considering here, what are the things you should be careful when writing email to someone? Now, I have made those points considering the structure of the email. We are not talking about the language right now. We are just talking about the format of email writing, the structure, the organization of email writing. So, the first point is use an informative subject line. Whenever you write an email, make sure you should be very to the point. You should be using the relevant information, and you should be stick to the purpose, like for what purpose you are writing an email to someone. Okay. So you should be very particular about that thing, because writing an email is something that it should be very prescribed, it should be very to the point, and you should not write anything unnecessary. And that's why if you are quite clear with the purpose of writing an email, you can write it very well. And for that you should know what are the things you are going to write. So use an informative subject line. Okay. Means let's say you want to write an email regarding you're writing an email to your guide stating that you need some help in chapter 1. Okay, so here you should be only talking about chapter 1. Okay, you should not be talking about the rest of the chapters like 2, 3, 4, 5. So stick to the point that you are addressing while writing an email. Second important point is, I hope the first point is clear to all. Just type yes in the chat box if it is. If it is not, I am ready to explain it once again. The first point is clear to all, yes or no? Pinal, Dhaval, Shivangi, Upasna, Trusha. Okay, fine. Yeah. Second point is, write the most important information first. See, the one who is reading the mail, of course, we all are busy in our own way. Okay, so writing an email means you shouldn't go into deep. Okay, state your first statement would be the very important one, because the very first statement that you're going to write in the email, it should be about the information that you want to convey. So uh, you're not getting my voice. Just a minute. Is it fine now?
मैम बैकग्राउंड से वॉइस बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा है.
Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. I hope now you're not getting any background voice. Just
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Next thing is, write the most important information first. So the first statement that you're going to write in the email should be the most important information that you want to convey. Okay, so do not see, writing an essay is different and writing an email is different. In essay, you should always start with the introduction, but here you should come to the main point first. Okay. Third is, use numbers and bullet points to make the message clearer. If it is necessary, then only you should use bulletin points and numbers. For example, you are the head and you are assigning the task to different members. Okay. Maybe in this context, you can use numbers, you can use bulletin points in terms of showcasing the different tasks. Okay, so that way, again, it depends on the purpose. Okay, and that way ideally you should be using bulletin points and numbers if it is required. I hope the third point is clear to all. Is this clear to Tasvi, Nakum, Trusha? Is this clear to Pooja? Fine. Use simple grammar. Now, this is the most important thing this is the most important thing when we are talking about writing an email. Your language should be very clear, and try to use very simple language, because the purpose of writing an email is whatever the thing you want to convey should be able to reach to the person whom you are addressing. Okay, let's say you're writing an email to your teacher and you are using French language. This is not going to work. So there should be a common language. You should be writing an email in English language. That's the first thing. Second thing is, you should be able to use an appropriate language so that the person who is going to read the mail will able to follow whatever you are trying to convey there. So use very simple language so that the person will be able to understand the message. Again, this is the kind of a platform where you are communicating things in a very formal way. Okay, so that's why ideally you should be using very simple language so that the person can understand the message clearly. Write short sentences. You should avoid writing long sentences. You should be writing short sentences, and that way the one who is reading an email would be able to follow whatever you are trying to convey. And the next and the last point is use paragraphs. If in case you need to, if in case you are drafting a long mail, make sure you use paragraph wisely so that it looks proper, it should be organized, and the one who is going through the mail can follow the information step by step. So if in case you are drafting a long mail, ideally you shouldn't, but if in case you are drafting a long mail because it is required, then you should use paragraph pattern. I hope the structure of email writing is quite clear to you, and in this session, of course, you are going to write an email and we are going to follow these points. Okay, I hope this is clear. Can I go further? Pinal, can I go further? Riddhi? Yes, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. Now here, there are certain things that we should be very careful when writing an email. Uh, these are the things ideally you shouldn't do. Okay, and I believe it's very important to discuss this, what you shouldn't do when it is about writing an email. So if you are going to write hello in your subject line, please don't do that. Okay, this is something that is not at all acceptable. Write about irrelevant issues. Again, the one who is reading an email is a busy person. You directly start with the statement that you want to convey. Okay, don't include irrelevant information. Give personal information. Ideally you shouldn't do that when writing an email, but as I gave you one example, let's say you are planning to make a trip, and for that you are approaching an agency, you are writing an official mail to that agency. So maybe in that case you need to give certain personal information. So again, it depends on the situation. If it is necessary, then only you should provide the personal information. Otherwise, generally you should avoid providing the personal information. Next is usage of capital letters to write whole words in an email is something that you shouldn't do because it indicates something else. So you should be avoiding a proper language structure. Okay, use different fonts in the email is something that is not ideally acceptable. It doesn't look good. It's not the correct way to write an email. Use italics is something that you should avoid. Use abbreviations like course, university in the short form is something that you should avoid, because here the purpose of writing an email is you should be communicating something in a highly formal language in terms of writing the main content of your email. So you should avoid certain expressions. Use acronyms like by the way, of course you should be writing the entire spelling of by the way. Use smileys. So again, whenever you're writing email to someone, it's always a very serious matter where you are conveying something, so please avoid using smiley. Fine. So these are the certain things that you should avoid while writing an email. I hope this slide too, where what are the things you should be following, and the fourth slide, the things you should be avoiding, is clear to all, so that we can go to the next slide. Yes. Can I go further, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Of course, you are familiar with the tools, but still I've mentioned it so that you'll get the idea. The one who is writing an email, of course, it's from, let's say you. You are writing an email to me, so it's me. You are keeping your class coordinator in CC, okay? And are you familiar with this fourth point, that is BCC? That's just type yes or no. Are you familiar with that too? No. Okay, no problem. No problem. That's okay. Uh, I'll give you one situation to make you quite clear how you should be using the fourth tool, that is BCC, black carbon copy. CC means carbon copy. Um, let's say we are working together, okay, in an organization. Fine. Now, uh, I'm leading one project, okay, and I'm writing an email to five colleagues who are working with me in the project. Okay, so it's me writing an email to five different people. Let's say I'm writing an email to Rutvi, Sagar, Shivangi, Tashvi, and Trusha. These are the people who are working with me on a particular project. I hope so far this is clear. Is this clear to all? The situation is clear? Okay, fine. Now here, I'll keep I'll keep my manager in CC. That's carbon copy, because uh, uh, I'm working on a particular project with this five people, and officially I'm conveying the project. I'm sharing the project information with this five people, and I also want that my manager, my head of the department, will also get to know that I'm working on the project, and at the same time I'm sharing the information with the colleagues as well. So I'll keep him in BC. Sorry, it's CC. I'll keep him in CC. And then this BCC section means black carbon copy. It is a kind of thing. Let's say I'm working on a project, and at the same time I want my friend come colleague, who is a good friend of mine. I also want him to know that I'm working on this project with these people. He is not a part of the project, but still I want to inform him. So I will keep him in BCC section. Now this BCC section is a kind of a secret section. Only the one who is in BCC section can get to know that, okay, this many people are working on this project, but my HOD, including this five people whom I'm addressing the mail, will not get to know that the information, that I have also shared the information with my friend as well. So it's like a secret option whenever you want to inform something to someone, but at the same time you don't want that others will also get to know that you are conveying some information to someone. You can keep that person in BCC section, but ideally this is something you shouldn't do. However, the email writing is offering this feature, but ideally we should not use that. I hope this fourth tool is clear to all. Yes or no? Just type in the chat box. Fine. Okay. Subject is something that is very important when it is about writing an email. So whenever you get the opportunity to write an email, first of all, ideally, you should think for what purpose you're writing an email. And accordingly, you should state the subject line. Subject line should be very prescribed. It should be very to the point. Don't worry. In the next slide, we are going to work on that part. So don't worry. And the second important part is you should know whom you are addressing. Okay. Let's say you are addressing your friend. You may address them, dear Kushali, dear Pallavi, because you are addressing your friends. Let's say you are addressing your colleague. Um, uh, you should address them, dear ma'am, dear sir. Okay. Ideally, it's not good address them by their names. Okay. Let's say you are addressing the head of the department or the dean, the principal. You should address them like respected sir, respected ma'am. Okay, so you should know whom you are addressing and whom you are writing an email. And last but not the least, and the main part is the main content of your email writing. Okay, so these are the basic tools for writing an email. Okay, now here uh, we'll quickly come to the next slide, and I've set the questions. So there are nine different situations that I have given you, and accordingly you're supposed to draft an email in this session only. As I told you, we are going to use the chat box. So ideally, what we'll do is we'll go chronologically. Fine. Let's say 40 students are there in the session, and you know your enrollment number. Fine. So again, there are 9 questions. So I'll quickly tell you who will work upon what. So first 5 students, according to this enrollment number, you are going to draft. You are going to draft an email on the first question. Okay, first 5 students, you are going to draft an email on the first question, second 5 on the second, next set of 5 on a third question, again next 5 people, fourth question. I hope this is clear. And you're going to draft an email here in the chat box where I just need the main content. I hope this is clear to all. Kindly go through all the questions. Okay, I'm giving you 5 minutes to go through the question. No, this is not clear. Fine. Go through all the 9 questions, okay, that I have drafted. Whatever you find comfortable, draft an email on that. But all are going to draft an email, and for that you have 8 minutes. Fine. Your time starts now. If in case you are unable to draft, kindly let me know. Whatever you know, if in case you don't follow the question, please you can ask me. Go through the set of questions once. Two minutes for going through the question bank and 8 minutes to draft the session. So basically you have 10 minutes. Okay. I hope all the questions are clear to you. Yes or no? Is there any doubt in the questions? Okay. See, these are the different situations. Okay, go through all this thing, and whatever you feel that okay, I'm quite comfortable drafting an email on this situation, draft an email on that. Let's say I'm going through all this thing and I found the sixth one is quite easy for me. In order to clear the doubts regarding the project work, how will you draft the mail? So here I'm drafting an email to the subject faculty. So ideally, what are the things you're going to mention in your mail? That's what ideally you should type it here in the chat box. Okay. And what we'll do, once you'll draft the main content of your email writing here in the chat box, I'll go through it quickly and we'll discuss the common errors that you have made, and that way I'll give you the feedback, kind of a general feedback. I hope this will work. I hope this is clear to you now. Tasvi Napu. Tasvi, I hope this is clear. Yes, in the chat box. We have to mail you or write it. No, no, no. You don't need to mail me. Of course, you're going to mail me, but not right now. After completing the session, that's the homework for you. So, of course, I'll inform about that in the last 5 minutes of the session, Bhumi Thakkar. But right now, I want you to just write down the main content of the email writing here in the chat box, because so that we can discuss the common errors and we can improve upon that. Thus we I've solved the query, Bhumi Thakkar. I hope now this is clear to you. Fine. I believe you're quite clear with the questions, you're quite clear with the situations that I have provided you. Fine. Now select anyone and drafting the main idea, the main content, okay, and please do it uh, within 5 minutes. We don't have much time. Once you're drafted, then only we can discuss the common errors. That is the most important part of the session. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, can you explain the first question?
Yeah, definitely. So in the first question, in order to convey the research progress to your guide through mail, what are the things you will include in the mail? Let's say you're working on particular research, and you have completed half of the task. Okay, and this is something that you need to inform to your guide who is guiding you throughout your research work. So how are you going to report your research progress through mail? That's what you need to convey. Okay, so I hope this is clear now. Hitarth.
Yes, ma'am, but I want to know, is there we need to put an attachment or we need to put a table? What we need to do for that?
See, you're no, I got it. I got it. So ideally, all of you are going to write an email to me, not in this session, but after completing the session. Okay. But here, I really want you to write down the main content. Let's say, forget about this attachment and all right now for a while. My focus would be on the language part only. So you start with the address, dear sir. I really want, I'll give you one example so that you'll get an idea. Let's say I'm giving you the example of the first question, okay, where I'm drafting an email informing about my research progress. So I'll address my guide as a respected sir or respected ma'am. I'm writing this email to let you know that I started working on this so and so research project last week, and I have collected some relevant data, and now I'm reading so many books in order to in order to finish my first chapter. So I just wanted to know that. And see, this is, I just want to check the language part. Okay, So this way you draft, you just write down the main content that you are going to write, considering the situation that I have provided. The actual email you are going to write me, okay, that I'll guide you. I hope this is clear now. Siddharth Kumar.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So whatever the situation you are selecting would be the same situation for the actual email writing that you are going to write to me by today evening. I'll provide my email ID. Now we have only 5 minutes to complete the task.
Hello.
Yes, you may draft the mail here in the chat box. Please do it quickly so that we can go further. Whatever you have written or whatever you thought, just type it here so that I can follow that and we can have discussion based on that, right? Vivek, on which topic you're drafting this mail? Sagar, please tell me. Poonam, tell me. Pooja, Niyati, Nisha Ben. Nancy, have you selected the topic? Nancy Thumar. Bhautik Dave, on which topic you're drafting an email? Please tell me. Okay. You're supposed to draft it here in the chat box so that we can go through it. All of you, do it quickly. If you're not to, we are not supposed to complete the session.
Ma'am, check the chat box.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. So I've received one from Riddhi. Dear ma'am, I'm writing this email to inquire that there's any Ahmedabad's air ticket is left or not. Actually, I got an emergency, so I have to go there. I need a ticket for that. Well, I know that I'm little LATE, that's late, okay, late for the ticket, but can you please try and let me know if there's any ticket is left or not? Fine. I'm going through it quickly. Dhaval Dodakia, question number 9. Okay. I really appreciate for those who have done that in the chat box. See, the first step of learning is trying. So don't hesitate yourself. Just type it. No one is going to judge you. It's just that we all are in the process of learning, and you should be contributing from your side as well. I know it's an online platform, but still we need to manage it considering the situation. I wish all of you contribute from your side so that we can improve this. Okay. Riddhi, there are certain things that
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I'm giving you the feedback. There are certain things that you need to take care. uh, of course I'm going to discuss that in the next slide, in terms of punctuation mark. Okay. In terms of the organization of email writing, you need to consider that. So one is punctuation mark, the organization, the structure of the writing in email, and second is the formation of the sentence. Okay, but still you tried. I really appreciate that. The same thing, whenever you are going to write the email in the evening, I'll give you the personal feedback over there. Dhaval, I'm going through your content. Give me a minute. Double, it's good that the structure-wise, this email, the way you drafted is good. Okay, and to make it more better, you need to work upon the vocabulary. I believe. I mean, it's good. I'm saying, but if you can avoid certain words, and instead of that word, if you can use some better words, it looks quite good. Trusha, I'm going through it. Trusha, again, this you need to work upon the language part, okay? But it's good that you are doing it, and I'm happy for that. Janki, good. I don't think so. You people have much problem in the part of language. That's really good. But we'll try to polish the language. That's what I believe. By reading this mail, I believe we'll do that. Of course, we'll do that at the end of the semester. By the end of the semester. Good. Sagar, good. Sagar, I'll come to that. You should follow the proper organization. What you have done is you have divided it into small pieces. Don't do that. If it is a long mail, we'll use paragraph format. This is just you can convey the entire thing in one paragraph, right, Sagar? You don't need to use bulletin, huh? Radha Basia. Here, there's no need to use bulletin points. Tasvi. Okay. Tasvi, yes, it is good. Trusha. Kinjal, it's quite good. Prithvi. See, my way is whatever the mistake, that only I'll address. So whatever the good part, maybe if at all I don't talk about that, don't feel bad, because we are running I don't have that much time, so I only focus on the mistake part, and I'll tell you that it doesn't mean that I am not able to see the good part of your writing. Of course I can, but considering this time limitation, I'll only talk about the things that you need to improve. Okay. Bhumi, it's good. Ruthvi, it's good. Kushbu, Nancy, it's good. So many of you have not drafted it here about lost riding. Yes, yes, yes. This is Danisha. Okay, fine. Please, let's say those who have not drafted. Anyway, this is compulsory for all. You all are going to draft an email properly to me. I think you are able to access my mail ID through this Zoom meeting. Yes or no? No. Note down my mail ID and kindly draft an email to me. Okay. On the topic that you've already selected. Fine. My mail ID is I'm typing my mail ID here. You're supposed to complete this task today only. Yes, fine. So there are certain things that you need to be very careful when it is about writing an email. The first is vocabulary. So you should be very particular in terms of selecting the word. Okay. Proper organization. So again, someone has used bulletin points, and I told them that you should not. There's no need to use that. So you should be quite clear with the structure of the email writing. And I think one has used this numbers. But in his case, it is important to use that. Okay, so you should know what to use. It depends on what content you're writing. So you should be clear with the organization. Tone of the language, remember your tone should be very much down to earth. Your tone should be requesting. Your tone and the language part should be highly formal. Okay, so if in case you need a help, so your tone should be quite requesting one, because you're requesting someone for their help. I've also in fact if you see this question, um, in order to inquire about the availability of air tickets, so here your tone should be very the tone should be the requesting one, because you want to inquire about something. So in a way, someone is helping you to let you know whether the tickets are available or not. Again, the third question. In order to inquire about the lost ID, to whom will you address? And okay, uh, I'm going to extend the question and draft an email for this also. Draft an email. So again, your tone should be very requesting one. Okay. In order to promote the business, what are the things you're going to include in your mail? So here you don't require a requesting tone, but here your tone should be very your tone should be the simple one. I mean, here you should know what are the things you want to convey to the audience in terms of promoting the business. So it's about the language tone, and of course we are using formal language only. Okay, so that way, make sure you use an appropriate language while writing an email, and punctuation marks. This is something that you should be very careful about. So many of you have drafted, and almost I have read all. So where you need some improvement, I have pointed out that only. And the good part is that you people have tried and you did it. That's the good part. Fine. Now, it is compulsory for all to draft an email on a particular topic and send it to me by this evening. Okay. I hope the instruction is clear. Yes or no? Remember, there is this 10 marks for the in-class participation. So this is what we are doing. We are having this classroom activity where your participation matters a lot for your progress, not for the marks. Okay. If I believe if this is clear, then we can go to the attendance part. If you have any question, please ask me regarding this email writing. Of course, whenever you'll write an email to me in the evening, if I feel that the way you have written is not appropriate, I'll send you the personal feedback. If I found it appropriate, then I'll not I'll not reply over there. So that means I've accepted your email. Do you have any doubts? You can ask me, or else we'll go to the attendance part. Is there any doubt regarding this email writing? Fine. Okay, I'm marking the attendance now. Just give me a minute. Number 1, just type yes if you are there. Number 2, 3. Okay, 2 is there. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. Chanti, are you 7 or 8? I'm confused. 8, fine. 9.
Present.
10. Number 10. 11. 12. 12. 13. 1, 3, 13. 14. 15. 1, 5, 15. 16. 17. 18. 1, 8, 18. 19. 1, 9, 19. 19 number is not there. 20. Okay, 19 is there. Fine. 20. 21. 22. 23. 23. Okay. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 30. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 39. Okay. 40, 40. Okay. 41, 42, 4 to 42. Okay. 43, 44, 45. Fine. And there's this another series also. How many students are there? Just type here. Okay. 57. And okay. 53, 54. Fine. Okay. Fine. 57, then 50, 47, 48, 53, and 54. Fine. Okay, so again, the last instruction is you're going to draft an email to me by this evening. If in case I feel that you need some improvement, I'll give the feedback over there, okay? And I'll meet you on Wednesday. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Stay safe and take care of your health. Okay, thank you. I'm going to end the meeting now. Okay.